Digital tattoo, which is a semi-permanent form of information spread over the internet, combining the word digital and tattoo, which is a reference to tattoos, which are almost impossible to erase it once they are applied. The internet is a very convenient means of communication, but if we use it incorrectly, it can also trigger serious problems. The most important thing is to understand that the internet is a space that may be built by unspecific number of people, and to think carefully about whether the content of your postings will offend anyone before posting. Calmly judge whether the content will be detrimental or offensive to anyone before publishing it. When I publish my thoughts on the internet, keep in mind that the people with different values may view it, and be careful not to make the content one-sided. Even well-meaning content with no malicious harm, upset intent can be hurtful to third parties with different values. It is a good idea to rethink whether I have a biased viewpoints, which is called unconscious bias, before sending out information. When such example is digital tattoos caused by the posting of personal information, if I frequently use it as an services to communicate it with friends and acquaintances, I may feel as if it is my private space. As a result, I may forget the openness of the internet and easily post information that could identify my personality or someone's personality. It is not uncommon for such information to lead to the identification of an individual's whereabouts. Revenge pornography, in which sexual images or videos are spread on the internet to harass a departed lover or spouse, also remains as a digital tattoo and continue to cause psychological damage to the victims. In 2014, the revenge pornography's prevention law was enacted to punish such acts, but the number of such victims is on the rise, with a record number of many cases reported. Due to the high degree of freedoms, there are many cases in which inappropriate content posted and a sense of personal tweet can become a major topic of conversations, known as flame wars. Access to the internet has not only dramatically increased in terms of the volumes of internet communications, which more people accessing the internet from smartphones than from PC, but also the means of accessing the internet has changed. The dramatic spread of social networking service such as X, Facebook, and Instagram is another outstanding the future. It is reported that the younger generation spends more time on the internet, such as YouTube, than watching TV. The amount of time spent on advertising and publicity is also increasing. Companies now spend more on internet advertising than on newspaper and TV. The effectiveness of behaviorally targeted advertising has become well known, and companies that conducted sales activities can now promote their product at 30% less cost. We are now living in a digital society. Even if a person in question noticed the commotions and immediately deleted the post. The information will remain as a digital tattoo due to the spread of the information by third parties who have saved that data. Many people post on social networking sites to share, record their children's growth and cuteness, and uploading photos of children is called share lentings. The footprints of our actions remain in a digital society. In this report, we explore the reality of live logging is point out its problem at the time when behavioral targeted advertisements using live logging started and proposed effective guarantees of the right to control one's own information in the digital society, while clarifying the problems of the common number system that the government was aiming to establish at that time. Those who have children need to be very careful not only about their own information, but also about the share lendings related to their children. This is because many people can view photos of their children, which may lead to criminal activities. Be sure to blur their children's face, look the account. The internet is a very convenient means of communication, but if used incorrectly, it can also trigger serious problems. It is not uncommon for such information to lead to the identification of an individual whereabouts. Not only that, but in some cases, the gender, age, occupations, etc. can also be identified, which can lead to crimes, nuisance, and other problems. So be careful. Digital tattoos have the potential to greatly disrupt the lives of the individuals and those around them. The digital society have brought great convenience to our lives. However, on the other hand, the digital platform providers that provided the foundation of the digital society collect, analyze, and use our private information in large quantities and easily, so that we were exposed to far more information than we can possibly remember, such as search terms and articles, YouTube channels. We have viewed it and our travel histories accumulated by having our GPS turned on. The system key keeps records from long ago to the present that are impossible for the user to remember, and makes money while predicting the behavior of the user in the near future. In the US, the high probability of success is achieved simply by analyzing the selection of likes and Facebooks, and Facebooks can be analyzed to guess with a high degrees of certainty race, religions, and political parties affiliation. Political party affiliation as a number of likes to the analyzed are more likely to accurately capture a person's personality than colleagues, friends, or spouses. Are we aware of the problems that lie behind in the convenience of accumulating and utilizing such vast amount of information that we can even infer our own thought processes? To prevent the others from suffering from digital tattoos, be aware of the following 5 points. Don't post anything that you don't want others to see. Do not allow your account or profile to be identified. Turn off location information. Recognize that everyone has different values. Do not publish a post that can identify you personally. I will explain each of these points to be aware of, and I am a must to avoid causing digital tattoos. Once you watch a video with a quirky, unusual opinions, many will recommend that the video with similar claims one after another, and you will be surrounded by biased information, thinking that it is presented by many people. The echo chambers phenomenon, in which one is surrounded by biased information, and the filter bubble phenomenon, in which information that is not to one's linking is automatically blocked and access to it is disabled, may drive one into a state close to a kind of brainwashing. It has been pointed out that there is a problem with algorithms calculation formula of the AI, which is set up with the supreme goal of increasing profits by swaying emotion, increasing the number of accesses. It is still fresh in our minds, and the corona vaccine has been the subject of fake news and anti-vaccine direction that is not based on evidence, such as microchips will be implanted in the U.S. and the genes will be rewriting. In the US, a significant number of citizens supported the idea that votes have been stolen in the 2020 presidential election, that make it an important issue. In the US, the free flow of personal information among private business, the data free flow itself is considered to be freedom of expressions. US has a highly biased and constitutional status of the free personal information among private entities as the horn of freedom of expressions. However, there has been a shift in values to the necessity of limiting the distribution of information based on the right to privacy. The right to privacy, based on the recognition that there is a risk of distorting the will of the surveilling and infringing on the freedom of expression. Is there enough discussion so that each and every surveilling person can face the issue of information distribution and make his or her own decisions? It is necessary to explore these issues and consider institutional reforms for countermeasures. One woman's joke tweet was so viral for being racist that her name became the number one trending topic on SNS worldwide. As a result, she lost her jobs and is ruined. What makes this article unique is that it details the voice of the victims. How did the throw-up and lynchings spread? What are the fears of the victims? Who the hell am I? Do you know my names? Do you know my gender, religion, address, nationality, age? Will the channel you are watching now be here tomorrow's? Who am I? Where am I? Do you know who you are? Are you troubled by your emotions? Why do you compare yourself with others? How do you want to live your life? Why do you need friends? Is it impossible to live alone? Am I the only one who is sad? Is it possible to spread my desired? Is it possible to have it all? How to live the happy life? Can I live my life in my own way? Am I wrong? Is ignorance the cause of my failure? Frustration is compliance. I have a strong desire to be understood and acknowledged, which may be a reflection of the many hurts I have suffered as a result of growing up in a harsh environment, failing to acquire success along the way due to unusual developmental path, or being a social minority. I am channeling these thoughts here Of course, I'll try to understand you as we continue our dialogues. However, it is impossible for me to understand you 100% because you and I are different. Reason I try to understand is to get an idea of how I can help you live your life. I will try to make you feel that you have been accepted and sympathized with. And after that, I hope we can continue our relationship settings our pace, frameworks where we can continue to be comfortable with each other, exchange the energy and information, and growing together. However, it is impossible to accept the other person to understand it 100% or to meet your unlimited expectations at all times because they are human beings, and if you do not do so, your expectations will one day turn into disappointment and anger. Therefore, it would be better to let go of such illusions gradually when they become stable to some extent. I think that the method of continuing dialogues will myself and others and thinking things through maybe a good fit for me. I guess the difference between philosophy and religion is whether or not to assume the absolute. It is very useful for us to survive it in the modern world. Its essence is also utilized in anger management and mindfulness. Religion and philosophy have a much longer history than psychiatry and psychologists and have faced the absurdities of the world and people problems. I would like to slow it down such wisdom as a form of culture without being bound by religion sects. In society, it is better to have a variety of people and friends understanding one another rather than relying on one person's. This is a basis of peer support and self-help group, with groups which are said to be highly effective in helping people recover and grow.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so.